Alright guys, coming at you with a new video on the Douk Audio T8 Pro 7-band tube equalizer. This thing runs for about $130 and it is well worth the money. I have it paired with the Fosse Audio BT30 Pro, and don't mind the holes there drilled, that's just for cooling. This thing runs a little bit hot when you run everything at 2 ohms. So, or well, the speaker channels are at 4 ohms, but the sub is at 2 ohms, and after you jam out for a while, it gets a bit warm, and it can use a cooling fan or some ventilation like that. So, anyways, let's go over this thing real quick. This is going to be a little video. I have this paired with the BT30 Pro, as I said, and the Shit Audio Modi 3 DAC, and it sounds beautiful. I was worried maybe if this EQ would add a little bit of discoloration or ruin the sound, but it's actually not. It's dead quiet with the volume all the way down, and it's a variable range, so you're not just EQing 50 hertz, you know, you're EQing lower than 50 hertz and probably up to 80 hertz or so, and you know, same with the other frequency ranges. And this thing also has a balance knob, which is great because if you're like me, sometimes your speakers aren't exactly the same width apart, and in my case the right channel or the right speaker is a little bit closer to me, so this gives me the ability to turn that to the left speaker a little bit and give that left speaker a little bit more power than the right, and it kind of evens it out. Works quite nice. Now, as I said, this is paired with the BT30 Pro here, and I have the volume on this at the halfway mark and the other settings around halfway. And then I use the T8 Pro as the main volume. And then one thing you need to watch out for, though, if you use the Fosse Audio Bluetooth, you need to remember to turn that volume knob down, otherwise it's going to be cranked up and you'll probably clip the amp. I did that once, and I clipped the amp and the sub channel quit working, but luckily after I reset the amp it started working again just fine. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's not the EQ's problem, that's just a user error. So okay, let's go over this thing a little bit. Just a little bit of information. And as you can obviously guess, yes, you can roll the tubes. You can swap those out, and they actually have some recommended tubes. And the same with the op amps, if you were reading there. So there's the tubes that you can replace with. I've been burning these in, and I mean, they sound okay. I'm not a tube guy, so I don't know a whole lot about it, but I think they sound fine for me. One thing I don't know, I'm not too quite sure on this, about the LED down in there. I kind of wish they didn't have that. It's kind of cheesy, but it's not too bad. It's okay. But that glow is just cool. So, alright, let me show you the back of this thing here. So it's pretty simple. It has balanced ins and outs. That was the channels 1 and 2, and the 2 switch that you're seeing there. Channel 1 is the balanced, and then channel 2 is the RCA ins and outs. And that's pretty much it for there. You got the DC 12 volt in, and I mean, it's a simple little EQ. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. One thing I do wish it had, I wish it had the pass-through. That way you could easily swap between the EQ and the natural sound of the amp and kind of get an idea of what's really being affected here. And then I also kind of wish, which I'm not even sure if this is possible, the ability to not use the tubes, to totally bypass the tube section, and that way if you blow a tube, you know, you could still use the EQ and not have to wait for a whole new pair to come in or whatever, you know. So that's really my only two complaints. I mean, it's a pretty solid EQ, honestly. I maybe do wish there wasn't a volume knob. You know, that way you could just use your main amp as the volume still and not have that issue like I had with the Bluetooth, but that's just my own problem there. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try to play some music, but YouTube is pretty killer on the copyright thing, so I'm gonna try to play some music and maybe we can adjust this, but I don't know, we'll see. Okay, this is gonna be hard to do, but I'm gonna try to do this here. We've got some PRV. Alright, I know that was probably not easy to tell. It's hard to record the EQ and then record the speakers and stuff. It's just not possible. But anyways, this EQ really does help. I mean, I don't know what else to say. If you're looking for, there's not very many newer EQs on the market. You got one from Shit Audio, like the Loki and the Lokius, which are quite expensive compared to this. And then you have, I think, the Bellari, and then a few others, but there's not too many options out there, and you know, especially tube EQs. So if you like that tube sound, and or you're not used to tubes, or you want to try that out, then there you go. This is great. So to me, this gets a solid 10 out of 10. I'd recommend it, and I plan to use this for a long time. So, and if I especially start swapping out the tubes, then I'll definitely let you guys know how that works. So yeah, that's been my little review on the Douk Audio T8 Pro. There is also the regular T8 version, which only has a 5-band EQ. So if you're going to order one, just be careful and make sure you're ordering the 7-band and not the 5-band. But either way, you know, the nice thing about this one is it goes down to 50, to 25, 125, 315, 750, and it has that 2K adjustment, which I like. That tends to be a little harsh area for me for vocals and stuff like that. So, okay, guys, I'm rambling on as usual, but this is my little review on the Douk Audio T8 Pro. Get one. Don't hesitate.